beautiful person watching this. Welcome to the Girl Journey podcast. And this episode was made with so much love. And I hope that as you watch it, that it helps you understand self-mastery and understand yourself in a way that allows you to grow, revive, and release yourself on your girl journey to the rest of the world. Please like, subscribe, and share to everyone in your circle. Every girl, every person you love deserves to hear something that can make them better. Bizu bizu. Love you.
They say life begins at 30, but 31 taught me how to thrive. I want to share 31 more real life lessons that have made me into the woman that I am today. If you've ever lost yourself, these are lessons that are a combination of massive losses, massive wins, and a decade of rebuilding my life. These lessons are for you. So join me on this girl journey. My name is Shirema Olivia Jidofo Anna. Welcome to my project. They say life begins at 30, but 31 taught me how to thrive. I want to share 31 more real life lessons that have made me into the woman that I am today. If you've ever lost something, if you've ever lost someone, if you've ever lost yourself, these lessons are for you. And these are lessons that are a combination of massive losses, massive wins, and a decade of rebuilding my life. So join me on this girl journey. My name is Shirema Olivia Jidofo Anna. Welcome to my project. So, lessons I learned at 31. Before I even dive into the lessons, I want to share a brief reflection of what turning 31 has been for me. And you know this thing where you never really envisioned what to be like being 31. I never really talk about it. It wasn't even based on my life by now. I should have like 8 children. That was all like 31. I didn't realize how much growth was going to come with the last maybe 5 years of my life. At 25, I was probably sulking because all the things that I thought were things I needed to do, things I needed to achieve, I wasn't achieving them, and I felt like such a loser. And to the eyes of everybody on the outside, Mark, you're winning, you're explosive, you're doing what you want to do. But I mean, like, I wasn't even scratching the surface of what I knew my life's mission, calling, goal was. And there's so many people in my age bracket who are like that, who till now don't even have those answers. And that's why I get to share my journey. I'd encourage you to actually take notes. Whatever it is that I say that resonates with you on a very deep level, because all the lessons I'm going to share, there might be 1 or 2 or 3 that might resonate with something that you're dealing with. I would say take notes. I would say share, screen record, and share these lessons, these specific ones that actually matter to you. Share it, post it, make sure that you're engaging with those lessons and actually putting it in your daily life experiences and seeing how it changes things for you. So the first set of my lessons revolve around growth and healing. And what is healing for me? What is growth? So I remember thinking about this and thinking to myself, growing up as an adult in my 20s, I would think that the way I was behaving was who I was. It was who I was. The way I was speaking was who I was. It's just me. It's just me. I didn't realize that some of those my patterns were not the real me. They were the unhealed version of myself. I wasn't truly healed, and I was carrying a lot of baggage from my childhood, from relationships, from experiences, from neglect, abandonment, from even friendships, right? And I realized that in order to grow, I needed to heal from those things, and healing from them in a sense that I didn't have to carry that trauma response and coping mechanism that I had built for that version of myself into the new person that I was becoming. So that's what healing and growth is for me, is that I needed to heal from a lot of things so that I could grow. Some of us are not going to experience growth because we're not ready to heal. And it's just sad, right? Then my next set of lessons are faith and spirituality. So key emphasis on the fact that I'm not talking about religion and spirituality because that's what people always say. So I'm talking about faith and spirituality. I believe in God and a child of God. I believe that there are spiritual principles that God has given to us to be able to live our life in a certain way. So faith for me is believing in God. Spirituality for me is the application of God's principles to my physical experience. That's spirituality. Then business and money. I want to talk about business and money. But I want to talk about faith and money and then business and spirituality. But I said, let me just, for another time, then I'll talk about, faith, business and spirituality. But business and money is something that I learned in the last 10 years of my life. I've been doing business for maybe 17 years. My father made sure that I started doing business from like when I was like 13. What? Probably way before that, probably 11 or something, because every summer break, there was the business plan that I was writing to get capital to go to the market and buy my tools and start my business. So my dad was raising me to be a mogul for the last maybe 80 years. And as exhausting as it might sound, by the time I got to 28, I was tired. And one day I woke up and I realized, oh, this money I'm chasing like this. I'm doing business, I'm chasing money, doing business, I'm chasing money. And like me, self, I've been tired. Because checking, I've been doing business since I was like, what, this little? So I was exhausted. I was like, you know what, I'm taking a break. So that's when I took my 1 year break before I actually turned 31. It was an amazing break. Relationships and boundaries. Some of my lessons are bordered around relationships and boundaries. I know that you love them, but you still need to teach them how to treat you. I know that they are your parents, but at some point, parents actually need to now be coached or tutored or parented to when they're getting older into how to treat you as an adult because you'll forever be their people. And it's something that you have to learn how to do respectfully and not dishonor your parents in the process of doing it. It's very easy to dishonor your parents at that point. And you might not see it as dishonor, but these are all the things we'll talk about: relationship and boundaries. Then confidence and self-mastery. Self-mastery for me was just confidence and self-mastery for me was just the height of my lessons in the last 10 years. It was the fact that self-acceptance, self-care, self-love, self-awareness were the things that I needed. In fact, in the right order, it is self-acceptance first, which is leading you to self-awareness, which is then going to lead you to self-care, which will then lead you to self-love. And self-awareness, self-acceptance is a form of physical well-being. If you can't accept who you're seeing, then you can't master yourself. If you consistently have something to critique about yourself, to say you don't like about yourself, then you can't absolutely even start to master yourself. Then you move to self-awareness. Self-awareness is the form of mental well-being. So most people are not even self-aware. They are more people-aware. So I had to unlearn being aware of people's emotions, people's thoughts, people's vibrations, and learn to be aware of myself. How did it make me feel? Did it make me feel afraid? Did it make me feel happy? That's self-mastery. The next journey for me was self-care. And with self-care came me having to learn how to take care of my body, take care of my mind, take care of my heart, my emotional space. It was a kind of emotional well-being. Like, I'm caring for this thing because I'm in a very emotional, stable place where I can care for it. So self-care is also a form of self-mastery that most women haven't mastered. Most women take care of themselves because of the people, their love interests, or the people in their life, or to keep up an appearance. But when you learn self-awareness, not people awareness, and you start to care for yourself by listening to your body, because it takes a lot of self-awareness for you to wake up in the morning and say, oh, this part of my body is hurting me. Why is this part of my body hurting me? What do I need to do differently? It takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to do that. And then you have people who just take care of themselves because they're trying to impress their husbands or their boyfriends or their neighbors. That's not self-care. That's even way far away from self-care. And then after that, you have self-love, because you can't love another human being. You haven't gotten to loving yourself. So for me, I think loving myself is what would key you into the greatest part of mastering yourself, because your ability to fall in love with who you've accepted, who you're aware of, and who you take care of signifies that you've gotten to a level of spirituality where you love God wholly. So no one will understand that you can say you love God, but then when you look in the mirror and you don't love what you see in the mirror, then that kind of confuses God and his love for you. It's just like, I don't know, I thought you loved me, so how can you love me and not love you too? So I will be discussing these lessons. And I just wanted to give like a brief general recap of all my lessons so that you know where they're headed. And this is just an introduction. So yeah, thank you. Stay tuned, keep watching, and I'll take the lessons one after the other. Thanks. Hi, welcome back. So my first takeaway from being 31 is you are meant to change when it comes to growth and healing. My first lesson is that you are meant to grow and change every decade. And your refusal to evolve is why you don't change. And we don't understand this thing. You think that, oh, me resisting this change, then and actually really take and do it. You change every decade, and your refusal to evolve is why you never make it to the next version of yourself. There was a time in my life where I sat down and actually told myself this truth. I told myself, I said, you're refusing to evolve, you're refusing to change, and it's because what you know is convenient, it's comfortable. And nobody likes to change. But you see, like I said, with healing comes with your scars going away. So if every time I say I'm healed and then my scars are still there and I can't get to take them off, but I keep telling myself, oh, I'm healed, I'm okay now, okay. But you're not actually okay because you haven't changed. Your refusal to evolve. So when you have a negative experience, you're very quick to say, oh, my village people. It is not your village people, to be honest. If we find something to blame it on, that's what I know people do. What I've seen actually is your ability to just let go and let the change happen in whatever manner that it presents itself. And I remember that when I felt like I was failing in my business, one thing that my mentor said to me at the time, she said to me that um failure to you. And I was so upset the day she told me this. In fact, I wasn't smiling when she said it because it did not make any sense to me. But you see, today it makes so much sense. She said to me that failure to you is success to God. Because what God does with adversity is character development. So your character will not be fully formed if you don't have a sprinkle of adversity in your life. And it's part of your evolution. But you see, when you now resist the adversity, it's coming to the adversity is there to open your mind. And some of us resist it by having coping mechanisms. We have friends we can call to send us money. We have people that we're dating that will send us money. So you see, you're never letting the adversity get to you in such a way that it can transform you. Allow your change. Allow it by allowing adversity get to you. Let it get to you. You need to accept yourself before anyone else can. You need to accept. What did I say? Put your hand in your ear. I say your name. I, Chairma, needs to accept myself before anybody else will accept me. That lesson is very critical because we spend so much time in our 20s trying to get everybody to be like me. Why don't they like you? I don't want to accept me. I want them to love me. You have to do it first. Literally, people can sense that you love yourself when you step into a room. In fact, there was a day I went to the market. I go to the market all the time. But on this particular day, I went to the market with my house keeper. And when we got into the market, I said to her, I said, how come when I send you somewhere and I stand far away, you buy it cheaper, but if I go to that same place, they give me like twice or three times the price. But we're almost dressed like I'm not wearing anything fancy. You're wearing something nice. I'm wearing something nice. Why? She said it's from how you're carrying yourself. They can tell that you love yourself. And there's only people that have money that love this. Hey, it just blew my mind. I was like, there's people that have money. I had to learn self-love because we don't understand that you're not going to get financial abundance if you don't love yourself. S- Because the wealth that will come to you because you will love and accept yourself. So I marveled at this lesson of acceptance. I realized that when you accept yourself, that you can recognize without knowing you, with just meeting you for the first time, they can recognize and say, oh my God, this person actually loves herself. This person has actually mastered herself. This person is confident. Why? Because you've accepted yourself. So you don't feel like there's anything you need to change. You don't feel like you need somebody else. You're just who God designed you to be. And anybody who has an issue with it, especially if you have a real complete relationship with the Holy Spirit and with God, anybody that has a problem with who you've accepted yourself to be should take it up with God because it's God that made you. You didn't make the patent, you didn't make the design. You just open your eye and you are here. So the earlier we understand that, the better for everybody. Love is a universal language, but you need to learn to speak it to yourself first. Love is a universal language, but you need to learn to speak to yourself first. I can't overemphasize the need for you learning to love yourself by yourself for yourself. It's a universal language because I was in an experience where I showed love to criminals and it worked. And then I realized that the only reason why it worked was because I had so much love that I had given myself that I could love my neighbor as I loved myself. So love is a universal language, but you'd have to learn how to use it for yourself first. You have to learn how to say kind things to yourself. You have to learn how to be patient with yourself. You have to learn how to not be jealous of other people. That doesn't do your system any good. You have to learn how to not keep records of people that have hurt you. That doesn't do you any good. Like that's not love, right? I really want you to sit down. Okay. So that's not love. That's not love. You need to learn how to love yourself first. Speak the language of love to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you say to yourself? When you are getting dressed, how do you pick your clothes? Why do you pick your clothes? Are you picking them because of other people or are you picking them because of how you feel about yourself today? When you are deciding who's your friends, are you making your friends because you want them to love you or because you love yourself and you feel like this person needs adds on value to the already existing value that you're carrying? And when I mean value, I don't mean financial value is no. I mean value in terms of morals, value in terms of character, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Have friends that have like all round, well balanced personalities and characters that you can benefit from. Don't spend your 20s concerned about what people think about how much you earn. That's your financial well being. Where you work, operational well being. Where you live, environmental well being. Who you know, social well being. If you spend your 20s worried about this four, you neglect the four that actually matter, that can get you these four sections without you having to try. Now, the four that actually matter that can help you. So on this side, we have your financial well-being, your environmental well-being, occupational, social well-being. And on this side, there are things like physical well-being, mental well-being, emotional well-being, and spiritual well-being. And what I understood was in spending time developing this other four, my body, taking care of my body, eating right, feeding myself well, exercising, sleeping enough. Not just enough, but like sleeping well, the quality of sleep was important to me. Then my mental well-being in terms of what I was feeding my mind with, what I was feeding my head with, what was I listening to, what was I feeding on. Consumption and feeding is not just when you're eating food, it's also like the things that you consume on social media, on your phone, your device, the movies, the conversations, the thoughts, those are all consumption. And I had to watch those things mentally. I had to also build good emotional well-being, which was me being able to express how I felt to somebody without evidently destroying the person. Me being able to express my feelings, positive feelings, negative feelings, whatever it was, in the most emotional, mature way. A lot of us didn't learn this in our 20s and we focus so much on who we knew. And by the time we got to who we knew, because of how we were in our emotional instability, we lost the people that God actually brought into our life as network. So in my 20s, I made the mistake. The first few years of my 20s, I tried to focus on this other part, and then I realized that wasn't making sense. In fact, from 2021 was when I realized that was a battle I wasn't going to win. So I gave it up and I focused on what actually mattered, because that's all I could actually focus on. I was put in a location where you couldn't even make the network. You couldn't find the good environment if you wanted to. You have to make do with what you have. It's about accepting it. So I I just mean that working on this other four will what guilt me into becoming this person who could change my environment, who could be a change agent, who could find out where my career and my calling was, occupational, you know, well-being, and who could actively control my money, financial well-being. I knew what to use my money to do, how to use the money, when to save, what, like, that came from adequate physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. You can't focus on building the wrong one and leaving this other one that matters alone. Like, you would lose out on both ends. So choose instead to know more about your mind, your body, your soul, and your passions. That's what I would say. Spend your 20s knowing more about your mind, your body, your soul, and your passions. The name of the game is self mastery. Mastering other people's thoughts, opinions, and perceptions of you in your 20s is how you get to your 30s depressed and dealing with some addiction or the other. And you have to understand that in your 20s, not working on yourself. Jim Rohn said something and I never forget it. He says, work hard on yourself more than you do on your job. So I got to this point where I started to understand that working hard on myself was what was going to build me into becoming the person that I needed to become. To master myself, to know oneself was to master oneself. Like, you can't be mastering what you don't know about. So if I was so concerned in my 20s what other people were thinking of me, what people were saying of me, the perception I wanted to create so that other people accept that perception of me, I would have been wasting valuable time that I would have used to, and trust me, I wasted valuable time for like 3-4 years before I learned this lesson. Because these lessons were learned through experience. It's not like as if I was getting it right. I made a mistake. And then one day I sat down with paper and pen and I spoke to myself and I said, don't be stupid. So so these are lessons that these are lessons that I learned. So if for any at any point in your life you feel like what is more important is what people think about you, how people perceive you, whether you're wealthy or you're not wealthy, you want to create a perception. I think that what truly is important is, you know, self mastery. The game that you're playing is self mastery. Master how you react to situations, master how you are in relationships, master how you are in the workplace, master how you are spiritually, master how your body responds to certain things. I think that is what's important, self mastery. Another lesson that was very key for me was, so I was focused on your reading, because that was the first thing that creator gave you. Your breath is very important. So that was, at this point in my life where I lost everything, I realized that the only thing I had was my breath. So the mornings I will wake up till date, once I take my first breath, the first thing that comes out of my mind, once I take my first breath, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, thank you, God. And I say it as many times as I can find what to say thank you for before I open my eyes. And I start with thank you for breath, because I realize that if for any reason this breath just left my lungs last night, I won't be here. So thank you for my breath. Thank you. And I say it and I take in a deep breath. And when I went, it's so beautiful when you do this, whole research and deep dive in scripture. When I went to actually research about breathing and, why was it breath that God gave us first? Why didn't he first show us the garden before to give us the breath? And it was just his fact that your breath carries his name. Like for every time you breathe in and breathe out, you say the name Yahweh. And the day I heard a Jewish rabbi say this, it blew my mind. Because I actually stopped. I was like, wait. Let me actually take a breath. I was like, yo, that's how you, that's what he said. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. Your breath is calling God by his most sacred name, Yahweh. Focus on your breath. Make sure you are breathing. Make sure that you are breathing and you're breathing well. Make sure you breathe and you can hear the name of God in your breath. That's when you know you are doing focused breathing, not the unconscious breathing that we all do as human beings. Start to focus on your breath. Use your breath as a way to worship God and bring focus to things that you are grateful for. This other lesson is an Igbo lesson, an Igbo traditional lesson. Igbo people always say, when you're cheer, right? And I believe it so much because I believe that everybody's uh destinies are different. I believe that people are here for various reasons. And by that, God is the ultimate guidance that you have for that journey. So if at any point you do not start to register or build a relationship with your own chi, and by chi, I mean God in heaven. But you see, God has a temple inside your body. So a part of God is residing inside you. Your body is the temple of the Most High God. So your own God is inside you. God made you in his image and likeness. A part of him is there. When you realize that God is your God and not the God of your pastor, not the God of your spiritual, director, but God is make personalized God. Know that God is mine and I am his. I think when a cheer. It's that you understand that even the very destinies that have been written in your life that would help you to find yourself are hidden in you being able to find the God that is inside of you. So finding God, you have to find yourself, then you find God, then you heal yourself. Because most people don't find themselves because they are pursuing so many other things. Once you start to find yourself, at some point in that journey, you will find God. Once you find God, once you see God, you will start to heal. And once the healing comes to this level of clarity because your mind would heal, your heart would heal, some of us, our bodies would heal. And that's why in the New Testament, Jesus talks, it wasn't Jesus, I think it was Paul that talked about how he gave us new bodies. And these new bodies were supposed to come after our resurrection. That means anybody that resurrected went through a death experience, right? So most of the things that God has placed in our lives are supposed to help us find ourselves so that we can heal. So how best are you working at finding yourself? How much effort are you putting into finding God, especially the God that resides on the inside of you? That's the question. Your resistance to your healing process, if you are wounded at this point and your healing is at this point, your resistance to your healing process is a disservice to the transgenerational wealth and knowledge and wisdom that you're supposed to give to the other generations after you. And the process of healing is something that even when you heal, your DNA embeds that. So you have a childhood trauma and you don't heal from it. It's in your DNA. You're going to give birth to a child who will have to go through that same trauma so that they can heal from it, so that it doesn't move to the next generation because these things are transferred. Some of us say, oh, my father used to behave like this, and now I'm realizing I'm also behaving like that. It's transferred. So your resistance to that healing process is a disservice to the rest of the generation because you're just going to transfer the trauma to them. So do your best in your time, learn your wounds, understand how they came, and then heal them one after the other. Do not marry till you have started the healing process. Because this is another lesson, but I will just rub them together. I said to somebody that marriage is two healed people coming together to play. And not just any people, two healed children coming together in life to just play. Like, marriage should be play. Life should be fun. We take life too seriously, and that's because we're pursuing the things that don't matter. If we know what matters, then life becomes play. Your work becomes fun because you're doing it from a place of purpose. You're doing it from a place of service. So you understand it with depth. This is my all-time favorite. Healing is, remember I said, resisting your healing process is why you're still where you are and it's a disservice to your generation. But at this point, healing is a lifelong event. It is not a one-time event. You don't heal once. It's a lifelong event. So understanding the length of the healing that you're going through is what is important. It is a lifelong event. So people want to start a program, do a 3 week course to heal from trauma, or do a 4 week course to do that, do that. And I'm of the opinion that all these courses are great, but you have to understand that it's a lifelong event. So if you take a course and you don't change the lifestyle, the healing does not finish up, and it's a process. And I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn it in my physical healing. I had back issues, lost use of my legs for a couple of months. I had to learn it with emotional healing. I had to learn it with mental healing. There were a lot of ways I had to learn that healing wasn't was. Because every time that word comes up again, I have to remind myself, oh my God, I have to heal again from this note. But each time you heal, you get stronger because guess what? You are building the neural pathways in your mind to tell yourself that this is how to heal from this situation at this issue. This is how you heal. Losing everything teaches you what truly matters. You see, the story of Mary and Martha is just so beautiful for me because those are two women who were doing the right thing. None of them were doing anything bad. One was catering, the other one was at the foot of Jesus, learning, being catered to. And I look at that lesson with so much depth and I see that Martha had something. Martha had the zeal to please people and to make people happy with her. Mary didn't have something, but she needed something. She needed to learn something for her life to be different. She needed to hear those words from the mouth of Jesus to have that transformational change she had heard Jesus, doing for others before now. And I think it is important to understand that sitting at the foot of Jesus is what matters. But sometimes we don't study the word, we don't take time off our lives to study and introspect and see, okay, what was God trying to teach me of this life experience. We're just so zoned in, so focused on getting, doing. And the need to just realize that we just need to do is just be, just be still. Just stop doing for 1 second. Just sit at my foot. Like at that point, you realize that what is important is presence. Your present moment experience is what is important. Who wasn't present? Mary was so concerned about what they would eat after they were done, but she wasn't present. She wasn't. So I learned that the hard way because it took me losing my business, losing my staff, losing my clients, losing everything to actually and a normal trauma response to losing things is, oh, I need to fix it now. I need to chase. I need to get it worked out. I need to fix it. I need to fix it. And I just kept hearing God just say, sit at my feet. Just sit at my feet. Can I have a conversation with you? Can I tell you what is going on? Do you know what is going on? Can I educate you? So I feel like taking that time and would I say figuring out what God wanted to know and what really mattered to his kingdom is why I had the energy to actually rebuild and come back because I understood what the mission was now. I was clear. I knew there wasn't money that was the goal. I now knew what the goal was. So I was clear. And clarity is one of the fastest ways to up your trajectory. Just be clear where you're going. Be clear on what you need. Be clear on who needs to come with you. Be clear on who needs to be in the real, in the background. Be clear who needs to be your support system. Be clear. Be clear on it. That is what losing everything has taught me. It's taught me that clarity is what really matters. Clarity is what matters. Welcome back again. We let the water break. So this lesson is about rebuilding being harder than starting, but it is worth it. You see, if you've done something before, if you started something before and it failed and you didn't restart it again, you wouldn't know the value behind your failures. If you failed and you just let it and walk away, then you don't understand what was embedded in the failure. So that's why I said rebuilding is harder than starting, but it is worth it. You're not rebuilding from scratch. Everybody say, well, I'm starting from scratch. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting with experience. That's the good thing about rebuilding, is that you have a lot of experience. The good thing with rebuilding is that you have a lot of experience to work with. So rebuilding is much better. It's harder, but it is better. It is worth it. God's plan is bigger than your losses. God's plan is bigger than what you've lost. So, um, I think at the time where I learned this lesson, I had Drake's God's plan on repeat. Because there are some lyrics there where he will say, I can't make it on my own. Like literally, if you've had to experience tough times in your life, losses, betrayals, then you realize that when you now get to where you're going to, and you now look back at the sum total of all those things that happened, like you take a bird's eye view of everything, all the things you lost, all the things you didn't have that you should have had, and you take this bird's eye view, and then you realize, oh my goodness, it was all supposed to happen so that I would be here. Like if Joseph's brothers never threw him in a pit, sold him to slavery, he didn't go to Potiphar's house. Maybe Potiphar did not try to, spoil our boy, and he did not now go to prison. How would he have interpreted the dream? Let him foresee the butler and the baker. No way. He had no connection in Pharaoh's house to get him close to the butler and the baker, except all of those processes that got him to the point of prime minister. Man, if you stay and look back at all your problems, you will see that your losses are not even, they are part of the plan. It's part of God's plan. Your identity is not in your job or in how much you own or have. If your identity, that is who you are on this angle, is controlled by what you have and how much you earn, you have not started. You don't have an identity. The identity comes from a deep knowledge, revelational knowledge of who you are. And yeah, if you find it difficult knowing who you are in terms of your identity, you can find that out in Christ. Who you are in Christ is your identity. Christianity is a lifestyle. So understanding the life of Christ is how you understand Christianity. So your identity is not in your job. It is not in your money. Your identity is in who you are and who the world feels. Like, let the world feel your presence. Let them feel who you are too. Not you trying to morph who you think the world wants you to be. That's not the plan. This other one, your your business is not Jehovah Jireh. This was said to me by my mentor. Your business is not Jehovah Jireh. Who is Jehovah Jireh? Jehovah Jireh is God our provider. My mentor looked me dead in the eye and said to me that my business is not my source. And I wanted to ask her, please, where this how have I been taking myself for the last 10 years? They're telling me my business is not my source. How am I supposed to take care of myself now that I don't have a business? So your business is not Jehovah Jireh. And I learned that by not having anything and having to depend on God daily. Like I didn't know how powerful our Lord's Prayer was till God had to prove to me that my business was not Jehovah Jireh. My dad has been on my head since. I didn't actually know how much God had dealt with me in that light until I finished that phase of totally dependent on God and came into this new phase where everything was all right, where everything was all right. I had rebuilt, I was back, I was in business and making money. But you see, at this point now, I'm making the money from my theory. I don't know, very, very demure, very relaxed, very rested. And it makes total sense now because that rest is coming from the sense of knowing that my source is God. Yes, that's where that rest is coming from. Knowing that my entirety of my provision, what I need today to survive, like as I'm spending money, is coming back double because it's not how I made the money that mattered. It is the fact that I acknowledge who my provision was coming from, which is God. So I want to encourage us to take some time and eliminate other sources of provision that we've all arranged in our lives. You know them, you know what, you know the them and the whats. So get those things out of your life and depend totally on God. The things that you know that you're very scared to lose because that is your source. Get rid of it and actually let it faith. Boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary for survival. I don't think that there is any harm in having boundaries. I think it's just healthy, emotionally healthy to know what you can handle and what you can't handle and educate people around you. Oh, this is what I can handle. This is my limits. If you stretch me like this, I will cut, I will break. I can't handle past this limit. So being able to understand yourself and your boundaries and not just setting boundaries and not keeping to those boundaries is about setting the boundaries and actually standing up to them. Like when you need to stand up for your boundaries, like you actually be like, nah, you're about to cross the line on the coordinates from X to Y. No, it's important that you set boundaries. It's healthy for your self-esteem, for your confidence when you know that you can communicate how you want to be, how you want to be treated, how you want to be carried. It's important that you set boundaries. This one is a very typical lesson, but I learned this one in a very difficult way because I come from a long line of people who believe in love and light. And I still believe in love and light, but now I'm a bit wiser in the sense that this lesson says it's not everyone who's clapping for you that actually wants you to win. It's not actually everybody that wants you to win. In fact, like I said, the only person that wants you to win in life is God. God, He wants you to win. He wants He wants your success more than you even want it. But for you to find another human being in that light, you need to be very, very mindful. So I learned how to be as wise as a serpent, as calm as a dove. I learned how to have boundaries around the things I was working on till they were fully formed. I understood why a pregnancy had to be concealed in so many sacks, because what you're trying to birth is delicate and it has to be fully formed, gets to its gestation, full gestation before you push it out. And then the rest of the world can see. At that point where the baby is out, breathing, moving around, it will be very hard for anybody who has an evil intention to actually harm that child. And yes, please, evil intentions do happen. That's why there's a part of the Bible that says in 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5, I hope I'm not putting wrong. It says that casting down every imagination that is not of God, pulling down strongholds in the minds of others towards us. So the imagination that I'm talking about is other people's imaginations of you. You're casting it down, you're pulling down those strongholds. But if everybody was clapping for me, why would Paul talk about casting down imaginations that are not of God in other people's minds towards us? So it's to show you that there's something, for lack of a better word, evil eye. There's jealousy, there's envy. You need to know that not everybody clapping for you wants you to win. Not everybody has your kind of heart. Yes, there are some of us who genuinely want everybody to win. Like if you see you winning and we're somersaulting for you, just know that that's genuinely how we feel. But there's some people who don't feel that way. It's not everyone. So like I said, not everyone. So there are some people who will clap for you and who want you to win Find those people, keep them in your corner, never let them go. Make sure the relationship never fails. Make sure you honor the relationship. But once you smell that this person doesn't like my growth in one way or the other, you do like this. Sifa adios. Come there, Juana. Ibamo to nababi. You test that. Good. Your health is your wealth. What you eat affects how you feel. People tell me, oh my God, how'd you get all of this energy? Why you were so happy? Why you were so nice? I was like, if you know the level of high vibrational foods that I consume, foods energized by the sunlight, not food that had to go through trauma and death. I'm not saying you know eat your meat. If I see she as I will eat. She give me she out. But I'm just saying that an increase in consumption of things that happen to go through death and trauma before you consume it, if you don't understand that animal has a soul. Like, I don't sound vegan. I'm not vegan. I eat meat and fish and chicken. But I'm just saying the animal does have a soul. The way the animal felt while it was dying registered in the body of the animal. Then you now carry the energy of that horrifying experience. You build it, you season it with Nivina. So them nothing past then. Kojo ni ti November ti Rosemary tire. Mujo ya mage. Sikwashia noko. Tawa no bi owe basagi. What you don't know is that Newton's third law, and I seen this thing like Bible. Newton's third law of energy conservation states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but transferred from the chicken to you. I will say the way Newton said it, not say chicken, but can be transferred from one form to another. So when the energy of that death comes, imagine just going to the garden and you're just lah, with baskets in your hand, and you're just plucking the pepper, plucking your cabbage. That's a more lively experience. In fact, the cabbage that I have 2 weeks, my cabbage is not dead. It's still very much alive. I'll just take some and cook. Just say what you eat, you're telling how you feel. If you're feeling sad, check it. The fast food you're eating, the staff there, they are not happy, they are mad. They are angry. And there isn't that anger to cook the food in that place you're eating the food. And guess what? Proverbs 15:17 says, better a bowl of herbs with love than a platter of dainty meat. So they use meat. Than a platter of dainty meat with hate. Use your hand and decide how you want to feel. Do you want to feel like love or do you want to feel like hate? Then decide what you want to feel your body. It's up to you. But you see, this glow, the size, you can't get it in the gym. You can only get it from the kitchen first. Once you get it in the kitchen, then you go to the gym to actually firm up your muscles. That's what it's supposed to be. Discipline will take you to where motivation cannot. Aspire to perspire to inspire to respire cannot take you to where if you got taught you are very disciplined. You're indisciplined in how you eat, you're indisciplined in how you talk, you're indisciplined in how you behave, you're indisciplined in what you're even indisciplined with your work. It's called a discipline. Like when someone says, I'm a videographer, I'm a hairdresser, it's a discipline. What's your discipline? That's what they always ask. What's your discipline? I'm a medical doctor. What's your discipline? It means you took some level of discipline for you to actually attain that would I say title or that position or that academic result. So you not wanting to do things from a place of discipline, but wanting to do it from a place of how you are feeling. You're looking for motivation, and motivation is just like dopamine. It's like a shot. It comes, it dies off, and then you're moving, and then you need this whole boost of adrenaline and motivation. It does not work. It doesn't. I'm not saying that self-help book won't work, will help you, but I'm saying that if you don't have discipline as your primary standard operating procedure, just forget about it. Okay? This one is very hard. Self-love means choosing yourself even when it is uncomfortable. Aye. Self-love means choosing yourself even when it is highly uncomfortable. So, how much do I love myself? This situation presents a level of discomfort that I don't want to have to handle or deal with. How willing am I to walk away from something that is uncomfortable for me? How willing am I to walk away from these things? That's how you know that you love yourself. The ability to choose you every time. It's not being selfish. Like people that self-love can seem selfish, but it's not selfish. Because you see, if I don't love myself, I can't love somebody else. So loving myself is not selfish. It's a commandment that me not doing it is me disobeying God. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you love me, keep my commandments. What was the commandment? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So it's not hard. It's not rocket science. And it's not hard. Women evolve every decade, and that's okay. So if you're currently seeing me and you feel like you're seeing other people, you can give it another 10 years. I'll be somebody else in another 10 years. So you can. Women should evolve every day. Like it's a thing where you learn lessons, you change. Men actually do evolve. Women barely, rarely do evolve. That's where you hear things like they say, oh, he outgrew his wife and then he married somebody else. And then wondering, how did he outgrow his wife? They're the same. They grew, they aged together. It's about the evolution of a being. Like you have to evolve at every point in your life. Where you've gone through experiences, where you've amassed a lot of lessons, then you now evolve, you know? I like that event that Sarah Jakes does. Is this Roberts or Sarah Jakes? Now Sarah Jakes Roberts. She does that's called Woman Evolve. And she does it every year. So how definition yourself, you should be evolving annually. So what are you doing in your life to evolve? That's a very important question. What are you doing to make sure that in another decade you've gathered the skills you need to quantum leap into the new version of yourself? Faith and fear cannot coexist. Faith and fear cannot coexist. God and the devil cannot coexist. I told somebody that you can't say you believe in God and then talk about the devil too. You can't say you have faith and then talk about the things you're afraid of. Faith and fear can't coexist. Your fear can allow you to accept faith and use your faith properly. But having fear and thinking you can have fear and faith at the same time, no. You also can't believe in God and believe in the devil. Personally, I just think the devil is just you living your life backwards. If you take the time to spell devil backwards, you see it spells lived. You are living your life backwards. That's when you're experiencing the devil. So if I say I believe in God, and then I don't tell myself that I believe in the devil too, existing and having power. Hi. Oh my God. So you can't have faith in God and also fear the devil. So faith and fear can coexist. So pick your struggles today. For me, I believe in God Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth. And that's it. I don't have room for two belief systems. Trusting yourself is a skill you must develop. Trusting yourself, you hear when people say, oh, I could feel it in my gut. I just knew it in my gut. I knew what to do in my gut. Trusting yourself is a skill you need to develop. If you don't trust yourself, it's like you saying we don't trust God. And it's just like when people tell me they don't believe in God, I'm like, so basically you don't believe in yourself because what are you saying? Trust in oneself is very essential to being who you're meant to be because sometimes you're going to get this gut feeling to do something that no other person around you believes you should be doing. I, for instance, graduated from engineering at the age of 2021, and I decided, oh, you know what? I want to be a hairdresser under this tangerine tree in my father's house. And my mother was perplexed. My mother could not wrap her head around one. My husband, bank, MD. My daughter, doctor, MD. Me, lawyer, the bar, the law. Then the one that is supposed to complete us to be fantastic for, that is supposed to be the engineer. Now she is disgrace to the family she wants to do. Hey, because the fantastic four was banker, lawyer, engineer, doctor. Yeah, any of that thing now, you're just the disgrace to your family. So my mother could not understand it. But you see, 11, 12 years later, the story is different because I trusted in my gut. I knew that this was what I was supposed to be doing. I got a job and I worked for like 3 weeks. And I was like, nah, this is not it. I have 0% desire to be here. 100% probability that I'll be paid a salary, but 0% desire. And that's how you die a slow death. Because you see, if there's 0% probability that I was going to succeed as a hairdresser, but I had 100% desire to pursue that career in hairdressing. Look at it 11 years later and look at where we're staying. At us now. We don't look like the people that were under the tree or medical Nigerian tree. But you see, I could have gone to Chicago to do my master's like my mother wanted me to do. And I would have been a successful engineer. Yes, I would have. Definitely, because whatever it is that a child of God does will succeed in, will prosper. But guess what? Would I have been going down the routes that would have led me faster to where God needed me to be? Maybe not. I'd have had to back circle maybe 30 years later to find myself back to this point again and has to start all over again to do the thing that I am doing now. Because sometimes God has a foundation for things. Nothing says that I still wouldn't practice engineering, but it's just understanding that God's plan is in trusting Him and trusting yourself, because He will speak to you about your life, not your parents. A lot of us think, oh, my father said, my mother said, my sister said, my best friend said, my boyfriend said, my husband said, my wife said. The only person who say actually counts is God say. And the one say, the other say that matters is what you are saying. When God puts His word in your heart, you have to place God's word on your lips. That's how you learn to trust both yourself and God. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So even in trusting myself is that if I don't trust God, I can't even trust myself. So my trust in myself is dependent on my trust in God. Right? Your intuition is your superpower. Listen to. Don't only listen to your intuition when it's saying that someone's going to be death. Sometimes your intuition will tell you where you find money, but you're too noisy. You're too worried. You're too all over the place. You're too distracted. You're too scrolling on your phone 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day. You're scrolling. Drop that phone so you can hear well. Some of these things, your devices have actual radioactive rays and energies that actually interrupt your signal to receiving from God. It actually does interrupt. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is pick up your phone. We've registered this first instead of downloading what you had gotten from God while you were asleep. Because guess what? He speaks to us in our dreams and in our visions. That's when God speaks. The idea that would give you the $1,000,000, He will tell you in a vision. He will tell you in your mind when you're focused, when you're not noisy, when you're not distracted, when you're in solitude. He will speak to you. So, my darlings, you need to learn to trust your intuition. That is your superpower. Listen to your intuition, trust your intuition, listen to it. Follow through. Don't procrastinate on what your intuition is telling you to do. You might seem stupid, but follow through. Right? Hi. So, man, these lessons are enormous. These lessons are enormous. It's a lot. So, this particular lesson is something that I say to myself every other day. You are not behind, darling. You're just on a different timeline. Not everybody has your timeline. So if you want to get the job where your best friend got the job, if you want to get the husband when your friends got the husband, if you want to get the children when they got it, your timeline is just different, right? And your ability to accept that you have different timelines and your time will come is what makes it beautiful. Is that the things that might be working out for you in your own life at this time are absolutely not working out for your other friends who you feel the need to, be like or want to, I don't know what the word is now, but you just have to understand that it's your timeline that is different. You're not behind. Money lost can be regained, but time lost cannot be regained. That's another thing I realized. You can lose money today and you can make money tomorrow again. In fact, the stock market can crash today and it will pick up tomorrow again. But you see, your time, that's why the Bible says, teach us to number our days. Your time is gone, it's gone, and nothing you can do about it. It's gone. Yeah. Your circle determines your level. So choose wisely. And when people hear this thing, they automatically think, I have to have a network of people that earn $100 million each. That's how my level would increase. If one of my friends, God bless his soul, I told him, I said, Now you see that thing that you said you have five bad friends. You are you are the sixth one. But that thing used to work. Imagine the life does not used to work. So if he has five friends that are CEOs, that doesn't mean I can't see in the sea. So yes, it actually does. It's not about the caliber of people. It's about the 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 characteristic of the people that you are choosing to go on the journey with. So that's why I said bullying in your life and the other lesson is great because at this point now, the people that are welcoming to your life are people that are going in the same direction with you, people that have the same sensibility that you do, the people that have the same values, same moral thinking, same standard. So it's almost like you're building a tribe, a family by choosing your tribe and your family. You're choosing your tribe and your family. Your primary family units, you don't get to choose those. But you see, the secondary family that you get in this life, which is your friends, your that you meet on the way, your husband, your children, you choose those. So choose what? Wisely. Yeah. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is strength. A member of my team asked me the other day, I was sharing some personal life experience with her, and she asked me the other day, she was like, why are you so able to just share things that happened in your past with me like this? And it's what we're doing, Sha, but you're very vulnerable. Yes, you talk about stuff. And I've known her for maybe like 2, 3 years before she started working with me. And I said to her, I said, it's easy for me to be vulnerable with you because I'm vulnerable with God. There's no side of me that God is unaware of. So I shouldn't be ashamed to share those sides of me with God that you're carrying on the inside of you. So it takes strength to actually share parts of your life with people. It takes strength to do that. It's not a weakness to be vulnerable. When I think what confused as the weakness of vulnerability is neediness. Being needy is not being vulnerable. Being vulnerable has a strength to it. Being needy, needing people to validate you, needing people to tell you you'll be fine, or needing that you're doing the right thing or you're going the right way. Needing people is different from being vulnerable. Being vulnerable is selecting who deserves to hear your story, your shame story, your pain story, your success story. That is vulnerability, like opening yourself up. And in being vulnerable, picture yourself as someone that is trying to give somebody a hug. At this point, if person coming to hug you is going to hit you in the chest or stab you in the belly, you have no form of defense because guess what? You're being vulnerable by believing that this person is coming to give you a hug. So vulnerability takes strength and trust. But strength is on our part is strength, and on the other person's part, you have to trust the person you're being vulnerable with, right? Marriage, success, and happiness are not destinations, but they are journeys. So everybody wants to get to that destination of marriage, that destination of success, that destination of whatever it is that is your destination, your end goal. Um, and we instantly just think that that's what is important. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is the journey. It's the process of walking through that life experience, going through that from trauma, healing from that trauma, letting go of the baggage of trauma. It's an entirety of that experience. So you cannot just say, oh, I want to get to success. You get to success, but you see, if you did not take the journey and the lessons that came with the journey, when you get to success, you experience another form or level of some problem or some catastrophe or some failure, to which if you didn't enjoy the journey the last time, you're probably going to have to repeat that test and it'll be much harder because you didn't pick the lessons the first time it happened. Because you were so fixated on getting to the edge. Don't be so fixated in the end point. That's the lesson. Focus on the entirety of the process. The joy is in the journey, not the destination. I learned that too. It is okay to outgrow people at places. Say after. It is okay to outgrow people at places. Do not feel guilty that you are growing. Do not try to shrink yourself. Do not try to be the smallest person in the room. Just know that it is okay if you have outgrown people. But you don't have to dishonor people because you have outgrown them. It's okay to outgrow relationship, friendships, whatever kind of relationships you have. It's okay to outgrow it. It's okay to outgrow a space. Do not you outgrow your spouse and then you want to dishonor your spouse. It's for you to have a communication with your spouse about your growth and their growth and how you want to grow with them. Right. So, but it's okay to outgrow people, and it's okay for you to be comfortable with accepting that, okay, I have grown past this experience, grown past this person, outgrown my own self. It's okay. It's about acceptance and peace and bliss. And that'll be my final lesson for today. And you know, 31 and thriving. Thriving isn't about having it all figured out or getting to the peak of your success or what you would call success. Thriving is still doing it no matter what. Thriving is keeping at it regardless of the circumstances. Thriving is pushing through without perfection. So I hope that these lessons actually do something for you the way they did for me. And please share your own lessons in the comment section. Feel free to tell me what key takeaways you've gotten from any of my lessons. And also, please share, repost at my handle, Chirma Olivia, and hashtag 31 and thriving, and so that I can keep up with your posts and I can see you share your own personal lessons. Let's share lessons. There are so many of us that might not have the platform, they might not have the capacity. Some of us are shy, but we've learned lessons and you want to share them. Do well, repost my videos and share your lesson in the caption to add your lesson to the caption of this video when you repost it. Thank you so much. In the next episode, we're going to get very personal. I'm going to answering questions about me so you can get to know me better. You can get to know what I'm about. And you're welcome to send in your questions even after you see the video. You can still send your questions. We're going to have another live session where we're going to be answering more questions about getting to know. So till the next episode, I'm excited to working with you on this journey. Welcome to my couch. This is French kiss. Just kiss your water here. Piece of this. Kiss. Come on. I think I'm going to say it a lot. Feels really nice. So I like to do my kisses like twice. So